Apologies for the sound quality in today's episode. My mic was glitching out. Thankfully, my computer caught my audio as well, so that is what you'll be hearing. But again, apologies and welcome back to the show. Welcome back to SportSense, the show where my dad is re-educating me on sports because I was too busy practicing Maynard Ferguson's Birdland for jazz band instead of learning about jet sweeps like I should have been.
It's time to get some
SportSense.
You're gonna get some
SportSense.
You better get ready for
SportSense. SportSense.
Hold on, Major who?
Maynard Ferguson.
Oh, Maynard Ferguson. Okay, I've heard. I thought you said Major somebody.
Well, you know Maynard Ferguson,
I've
the
heard
trumpet player.
Yeah.
You've probably heard Birdland before. That's like one of his most famous. I think that's his most famous.
That's what I haven't heard. That's what I'm saying.
You probably heard us play it in jazz band. You came to my shows.
I understand. I came, and I tried to listen.
That's fair.
But I might not have retained like I should. What I do remember most was you beating on the drums. I love that concert. Beating on the on the trash cans.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
And the basketballs, beating on those with I mean, y'all did some cool stuff on that one.
Let the record show here on this podcast. You were very supportive, even of things that you didn't
retain.
You weren't or you weren't interested in, or didn't understand my interest in. So I really appreciate that.
But I loved Jews, therefore I was there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I loved it. It was awesome. Okay, well. On that, hey, this is episode 4. Did you think we were going to make it this far, Dad?
I did not. No, I'm just kidding.
Pretty awesome.
I think you're having fun with it, and you're doing almost all the work. So thanks for doing everything.
You are bringing all the know-how, and that's what the people are here for. So let's jump into it. And I did watch one single game this weekend.
Hold on. Happy Veterans Day.
Oh, shoot. Yes.
So just our thanks to anyone who's tied to anyone, directly or indirectly, who has served or does serve in our military forces. We are grateful. And I don't know how some of them, just had the remembrance today, somebody mentioned about, he knew he didn't have what others have in terms of the courage factor, right? He worked in New York and New York City when 9/11 happened, and he saw those, as he said, running the wrong way, meaning the first responders running towards the buildings, and he was running away from the buildings, and said he didn't think he had that gene in him to run towards the building. But anyway, that's how I feel about the military. So my father served in World War II as a merchant marine, your grandpa. And so I was raised with it deeply instilled in my house. In fact, I didn't make my children do it, so I lost the tradition. But in my household, watching a sports broadcast, as soon as they played the national anthem, we all stood up in our house.
Wow.
For the ball game, for the national anthem. Isn't that interesting? They used to do it every time before any big game, but my father stood up, boy, and we all stood up. Not that I was scared of them, but it's out of respect and, all right, I've taken too much time, but that was a memory that just flooded back of us. I mean, all my brothers, everybody, we all stand up. My mother, everybody stand up. And in a sense, now I look back and think, how cool is that? I mean, if that's not laying a foundation for me to love this country, I don't know what does, because that was one of his and my mother's many attributes about love of country that really sunk deep in me.
That's really cool. Yeah, no, I mean, you at least made sure we were taking off our hats and stuff back when we'd go to a local high school football game or something. They sang it, but
well, at least I did. Yes, of course, you got to do that. But anyway, thank you for letting me throw that in there to start.
Thanks for that, Dad.
All right, Coop. Recap.
Well, yeah. Hey, Dad, I watched the football game.
You watched the whole thing.
Yep, I watched the whole dang thing. BYU playing University of Utah. You were up at 2 a.m. watching that. How was it?
It finished at 2 a.m. I didn't go to sleep till after 3 a.m. because the adrenaline was pumped so bad.
And for people who maybe didn't keep up with it, BYU won by, was it 1 point? Or
1 point, 22-21.
Yeah, and a crazy final drive to get into the kicking range. Is that what you call it?
Field goal
range.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, looking good.
And anyways, and it was after a crazy game back and forth and just ugly playing all around.
Well, no, let's take you. You have any? How did you feel about it? And then I'll give you my 2 cents worth. How'd you feel about watching the whole thing?
So initially, I was kind of like, oh my goodness, what a stroke of luck. We didn't even deserve that. But the more I thought on it a little bit more, I realized Utah had plenty of chances to get a bigger lead. And they had plenty of penalties go their way where they got free yardage.
Well, so that's good, though. You got into it, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, see?
definitely. I mean, my chest was tense,
There you
and
go.
I was feeling it. That's for sure.
Good. Well, I'm glad you watched it. I did. I mean, we stayed up. There were some
Oh,
hurting puppies. But anyway, yeah, a couple recaps on that. I just got a hit. This guy had his first start ever. He played out of his mind the first half.
wait,
Crazy.
who are you
The
talking
Utah
about?
quarterback.
Is
Anyway,
that
he played
Brandon Rose?
what? Yes. But if you watched his crazy energy on the sideline, he was insane. I mean, he looked like he was on something. I don't know if you remember him running the sideline one time. He's been there 3 years, so I'm so impressed with what he did the first half. But he wasn't out of control emotionally. He was so emotionally high that I knew, my experience tells me, he was going to crash. And BYU was going to make some adjustments at half on that defense to straighten this out. Now BYU, they gave Utah every chance to win. I could not have been more frustrated or embarrassed almost for the coaching staff at the end of the first half and the end of the game. They did not have clock management, Cooper. You and I could be prepared for clock management better than they were with just an hour's preparation time. I'm telling you, they didn't know how to spike a ball. They wasted putting, well, I won't go into detail, but they were putting packages in that ate up time. They really tried to give it away, but
Burning timeouts.
Yeah, they wouldn't take it. Right. Wasted timeouts. So what was amazing is our defense, though. They played a perfect second half. Utah didn't score 1 point. I mean, not 1 point in the second half. So they tightened up, made adjustments, had interceptions. I mean, they ate them up. So they did their part. And the offense did just enough. We didn't have our best game. But that final drive was cool. And it was. Fourth down, looked like a sack, game over. And then I hear the announcer, flag. And then you see this little flag thing on the TV screen. I go, okay, there's hope. And but then when you see the replay, it's really you don't make that play. You're stupid. You got your defense has had our quarterback on the run all night long, running for his life.
Yeah.
And he sit there and grabbed his arm around his chest when the guy was trying to make his cut and make it his move. And your referee standing 5 yards from him, staring right at him.
He was running a red light right in front of a cop.
Oh, absolutely. And so anyway, long story short, what I'm proud of BYU is they did, even trying to screw up the time, they still got down. And did you see, last thing I want to close with this, because there's two things. The kicker, did you see him on the sideline? Most relaxed dude you've ever seen. He's over there. A lot of times they leave kickers alone. They're over there sitting in the corner like nobody voodoo, nobody touch them. He's over there bouncing around the guys, grinning and carrying on, loose as a goose. I mean, it was a beautiful thing. So, and he comes and just nails it. I mean, he nails it. Last thing I'll say about that. Remember we talked about last week, hadn't played for 4 years. You know, they're wondering, has the rivalry cooled off a little bit? But now we're in the same conference. And I said last week, you know, when the writers said, hey, one bad hit, one something stupid one player does, it'll fire it all back up. Well, after what you saw their AD meltdown, got fined. Did you see that? He got fined today, like $40,000 for the conference. Anyway,
what's an AD, by the way?
Athletic director.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I saw his comments, and I asked my father-in-law. I was like, "That seems weird to me that you can't just say what's on your mind and not get fined $1 million."
That's a conference. In conferences and in NFL, they have certain decorum rules when it comes to bashing the refs. You can say about everything else. That was bad luck. That was terrible. You know, they try to protect the refs. But what I'm saying is, my note that I wrote to myself for tonight is the rivalry with Utah and BYU is on fire. It's good for another 100 years after that win and that loss by Utah. I'm not kidding you. I mean, it is. There are families separating right now. I mean, it's ugly. Yeah, but for us, we couldn't have been happier, right?
Right. I mean, we'll take it for sure. I had a couple friends that attended, and they said it was a little scary being in the stands surrounded by Utah fans.
I believe it.
So they got home safely, though.
We don't want to bore everyone with all of our incredible excitement for that. But it is a holy war again. I don't know. I probably call it an unholy war. The way the
way it's going, yeah.
Real quick on the college recap. You only wrap up a couple things if we can.
Let's hear it. Yeah.
Well, the one you probably did not hear about, but down here we sure did. Back east in the ACC, Georgia Tech, which I love. I mean, I just think they're a neat university. Hugely upset. Previously undefeated University of Miami, who was ranked 4th in the country. Georgia Tech was not ranked at all. And that really messed. That threw our whole ACC up in the air. It threw the college, playoffs, football playoffs rankings are going to be thrown in the air. I mean, Miami really couldn't afford. They lost 28-23. That was what I call the upset of last week. That was the main upset.
That sounds like another painfully close game as well. I'm sure they were heartbroken over that.
Georgia Tech kind of had it the whole game. They were steady, Freddie, and led. Had them way up anyway. So that was pretty cool. And then the CFP, which you said, college football playoffs, first brackets did come out last Tuesday. We talked briefly about it. But that's all I got on college. There's so many more. The rankings came out. We'll talk about that later.
Have some teams, when you say the first bracket came out, do you mean some teams have clinched their place? No.
In the playoff? They don't start till the 10th week. It gives you a saying, if it were to happen today, here's the way it would look.
Gotcha.
But no, we got it could juggle and change dramatically, those 12 teams between now and the end of the season. But they do start doing it each week now.
How many games does everybody have left?
They probably got 3. Let's see, what are they on the 10th? Most of them 3.
Okay, so like a quarter of a season left.
Yeah, it's getting down to it now.
So
that's regular season. Most conferences do have a conference championship game.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and so they'll have that, and that'll kind of help make the final decision to who goes from the conference.
Man.
But that's it. That's it for college.
NFL. Actually, I was hearing while I was playing Fortnite again. I mentioned that sometimes. I was playing with a couple friends last night, and one of them said he was going on about Detroit. Goff isn't playing so well. His luck's run out. Something like that.
He's an idiot. Whoever your friend is, he's an idiot. He doesn't know football. But Detroit won, so I didn't have that on my list, the games to talk about. But he did throw 5 interceptions.
Oh, yeah.
And they still won. So that tells you they are a great team, top to bottom. Special teams, defense, offense. You know what I mean? So even on a bad game, they still came back and won, which is good. A couple of things I had that we had talked about when we talked about the Chiefs, Tampa Bay. Chiefs won 30-24. They keep winning ugly. But here's what was interesting. I got to just zip to the Chiefs yesterday. But they played the Broncos, which Broncos are on the up. They're coming up because Sean Payton, who had coached the New Orleans Saints forever, many years ago, but then he retired, kind of left the business for a few years. And he's come back, and he's a great coach. But he's got the Broncos playing much better. Well, they had the Broncos beat. They were down 16-14. Right, the
Chiefs were down.
Broncos were down 16.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Broncos had led them in the game. The Broncos did exactly what they drove down the field on the last drive. Time's running out. They call timeout, and these guys got a 38 or 42-yard field goal, really an easy field goal. And he went to kick it, and it looked like his whole protective line collapsed because like 4 Chiefs defenders come through with their arms up high, and they blocked the field goal. Whoa. And Chiefs win. Time goes out. Chiefs win 16-14. And it looked like Broncos had them beat. I mean, it was most times, I don't know, 90%. I don't know, 95%. I don't think they blocked more than 5 or 10% of those field goals. And anyway, so that was kind of a crazy. They're 9-0, and it seems like they're playing with voodoo magic. I don't know. They've got to get some people healthy because crazy stuff. But the other game that we had on our watch list, was Pittsburgh versus Washington. Remember we talked about the Steelers versus the Commanders, and it lived up to the billing. Pittsburgh won 28-27, and it was a great game all the way around with the rookie from the Commanders, Washington Commanders. He was steady, Freddie. They had a touchdown each quarter. They just looked so good. But Pittsburgh pulled it out. So anyway, that's kind of our recap from the NFL.
I didn't know the Steelers were much of a player this season.
Yeah, well, that's because nobody talked about them beforehand, preseason, and even starting to that's because they had kind of a screwed up quarterback situation. They had Fields from Chicago traded there, and they kind of considered him a bust in Chicago. He was a high draft pick. And then Wilson they brought over. He had a Hall of Fame career, had a couple of bad years and with the Broncos, and they brought him over, and he's caught on fire. He's doing really well. So yeah, they're like 7-2. So they're leading their conference, leading their division.
I don't hear people talk about them. I don't think about them. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Good for them.
All right. That's it for the NFL recap.
All right. Well, thanks for the recap. What do we look forward to this weekend?
The top game is going to be Tennessee playing at Georgia. So Tennessee's ranked 7th, Georgia's ranked 3rd. It is going to be quite the matchup. And either one, especially Georgia, wants a chance at the college football playoffs. They got to beat Tennessee, especially Tennessee's ranked 7th. So that's strength of schedule we've talked about. That would be a really good quality win for Georgia. Georgia can't lose anymore, and they've got to win these last 3 games, especially one against Tennessee. It's kind of like they eat each other up, right? They maul each other in that conference. But no, Georgia is still very much in the playoff hunt if they beat Tennessee. They very much will. So
let's see if those Bulldogs can take a bite out of those Volunteers, right?
Yeah, that's right. So that's just, of course, a team, a game to watch next week. I've got a note, and you can call this one of my morsels, I guess. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know how much you're a Deon Sanders. You remember you gave me that first question about player?
Well, he's the guy that he played baseball and football, right? Hit a home run and a touchdown in the same week.
Yes.
Wow.
So do you know he's a head college football coach?
No. That's cool.
All right, cool. Then we got to take a brief moment. You've missed this? You missed when this all happened?
Yeah, we had our one fun fact about him or quiz question about him.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know anything about that.
All right, he landed on the scene. This is his 3rd season. Colorado University hired him.
Okay.
Colorado.
Is he the guy that wears the cowboy hat and he's got a big personality and all that?
Yeah, big. Sanders? He's got the biggest personality, big sunglasses. And he's got a son. Well, he's got 2, but he's got one who's the star. His name's Shadur Sanders. He's the quarterback. And then they've got another player, not a family member, who plays offense and defense. He's probably one of the best athletes ever to come out of college football, but we'll watch. But here's the fun fact. Fun fact is they kind of thought he was all, because he talks. If you only knew him as a player, nobody talked like he talked. He talked more. He's just funny. He talked. Well, as a coach, he came on, and that's how he recruited. And everybody said he's full of sizzle with no meat. Right? Just
all bark, no bite.
Well, yeah. And so his first year, they got killed. I think they won 1 game, 2 games. Last year, I think they even maybe played 500 ball, which means I don't know, maybe they're 6-6 or 6-5 or 5-6. But they improved quite a bit, and they even improved their talent substantially. He got recruits to come in. He got the transfer portal worked his favor. Well, this year, they remember the same conference as BYU. That's why I need you to pay. This is my morsel. They are now 5-1 and 2nd behind BYU in the Big 12 conference. They're 5-1 in the Big 12 conference. And everybody is having to take them serious now and starting to give them credit. So much. Here's the little tidbit that came out today on the Talking News. Dallas Cowboys are going to get rid of their coach at the end of the year. His contract's up. He's going to be gone. They really stink extra bad this year. They're falling apart. And the rumor is that that everyone, all the Cowboys the fans and everyone else wants Deon Sanders to come be the head coach. So he's going from potentially being now, by the way, he cut his teeth earlier. He had a HBCU, historically black college university that he coached for several years. And that's 1 level down from the highest level of college football. And he did great there. His teams are really good. So he's been coaching a while now, but it would be still quite the jump when people kind of made the pundits that I joke about that don't know anything. They kind of made fun of him going to Colorado and thought, how is he going to recruit anybody? But he's proven them all wrong. He has put a heck of a team out there, and now they're the number 1 nemesis, if you will, potentially BYU. BYU might have to play them in the conference championship game. So that's my tidbit of fun facts, that he might even go to the Dallas Cowboys next year. But who knows? Because his son's going to go pro next year.
That's really cool.
All right.
I don't think this is much of a Lingo Lango, but I noticed you said 500 ball earlier.
Yeah.
And,
so that means you have equal amount of wins as losses. So if you have 5 wins, you have 5 losses.
And is that a reference to baseball where you by hitting 500?
No, because nobody hits 500. They all you're a Hall of Famer if you hit 300.
Okay.
So
interesting.
No, it has to do with really your wins and losses playing 500 ball. Yeah.
But where does that number come from? That term come from 500 ball? Like, why do you call it 500 and not 50% or half?
Yeah, I don't. Now I had to do my homework, and I'll get back to you.
My guess is it's got to be because .50. Oh, in baseball it means you're hitting half the time, right? So
Yeah, but
500.
no one's good enough to hit that well. That's the point.
Right,
You got-
but if you're hitting that well, you're.
But no one has ever
doing,
hit that well.
You're doing half good if you're hitting that well, right?
You're doing that best ever.
You're
was
doing half
barely
perfect.
Barely over 400. It was the greatest season ever. So forget the baseball analogy. I'll find it out for you.
Okay, well then maybe that was a good one. Yeah, let's look into 500 ball.
Okay, 500
the
ball.
Etymology of 500 ball.
Got it. And then I'm going to finish up with this so we can wrap up. Where are you going Wednesday night?
Where am I going Wednesday night? Oh, of course. I am seeing the Carolina Hurricanes face off for the very first time with the brand new franchise, the Utah Hockey Club. So very excited about that.
Canes are 10-3 with no ties. The hockey club of your current home state they're 6-6 with 3 ties. So they're holding their own for this is their inaugural season.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to wish you have a big time. Wear all your Canes gear. It's going to be fun to see how. And I need the Canes to win. I can't have Utah Hockey Club do this. But anything can happen when you drop the puck, right?
Yeah, I liked how Keaton mentioned about the Detroit football coach, how he's the eat a bowl of nails for breakfast kind of guy.
Absolutely.
And that's what I think of Rod Brindamore coaching the Hurricanes. I think he's just the coolest, toughest guy, but just sharp and
he's classy for a hockey career, 35-year hockey guy. We love him here. We're so blessed to have him. But anyway, that's all I got.
Canes. All right. Well, hey, with that, we can move into Pop's quiz.
All right. I got no phone a friend tonight. Let's do it.
Who was the first Jacksonville Jaguar running back to rush for more than 10,000 career yards?
Jacksonville Jaguars running back 10,000. Oh my gosh! That means they've only had one great running back. Who was it?
Is 10,000 a pretty achievable?
That's massive. Yeah, that's big.
Okay, no, it's okay. So it's hard to achieve.
That is hard to achieve. Yep, that is big. Oh man. I need Keaton. Hang on, let me think about because they didn't. I thought you were going to ask me about the quarterbacks. Okay,
you doing some Googling? No Googling over there.
No, I'm thinking. So they've probably been around 20 years now, maybe.
The Jaguars.
Yeah, 20.
Oh yeah, that is a new franchise. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they're a new franchise.
Cool.
All right, give me initial or something.
Initial is FT. He played from 1998 to 2010. And he only played for 2 teams, the Jaguars and the New England Patriots.
I've got a brain fart right now, that's for sure. You gave me FT for heaven's sake.
FT, yeah.
Oh, is his last name Thomas?
Oh, no. I better just tell you at this point. Fred Taylor.
I like Fred Taylor.
You remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Fred Taylor.
I'm losing my mind. All right, you got me.
Dang, okay.
I like Fred Taylor a lot.
Why do you say you like him?
He's just a cool player. He was smooth. He's just a good guy.
All right, there you go. All right, hey, I actually do have, before we go, I have a couple mailbag things for you.
Okay.
So really quick, I mean, this one's not even a question. It's just that
it's funny.
You have a pesky son-in-law that keeps chiming into the show. He says, your dad said that Barry Bonds and his dad, Bobby Bonds, played together, and they did not. That's Ken Griffey Jr. and his dad, which we did talk about.
No, I didn't say that. Keaton said it.
Okay.
And I was saying, yeah. My son-in-law needs to get off this program. That's funny.
Yeah, take a break. Take a bye week, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate him listening, though.
And and then one's for me. I had a question.
Yeah.
What is it? So, I watched my one football game of the season this weekend.
Utah BYU.
I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. So there was a kind of a iffy penalty call. I mean, there was a lot of those that game, as we talked about. And at one point, the ref was like, I don't know, that's kind of ticky-tack. And I wasn't sure what he meant by that. Like, I mean, I got. I mean,
the announcer said it was kind of.
He's like, I don't know about that penalty. That's kind of ticky-tack to me.
Yeah. So you want to know what the ticky-tack is?
Yeah, does that come from something, or is that just the announcer?
Now again, I don't know what the history is. Ticky-tack means it's very minor, and most times you would just let it go.
Okay, cool.
That means they're getting very picky.
It's got a similar sound to nitpicky, ticky.
Yes.
I don't know. So maybe it's coming from something in there, but Okay, and
It
then
was probably some drunk fan that started it like 80 years ago that said it, and it stuck, and everybody keeps saying. So we'll see if we can figure that one out too.
before we go, I got one more. This was another mailbag from one of my coworkers named Coby. So thanks for sending this in, Coby.
Hey, Coby.
He says, I've been laughing about this for years. Show your dad and see how he likes it. For the listeners, you might know this one. It's a video from SNL called Roundball Rock featuring Jason Sudeikis and Tim Robinson.
Here we go.
We've written a song that we like to call Roundball Rock.
I've never seen this.
Basketball, give me the ball, make it stop. Go. Their lyrics, it's no good. Ooh, wow.
Pretty much the rest of this is just them throwing a tantrum.
Okay.
So what do you think of Roundball Rock, Dad?
That is, it leaves me speechless. I appreciate the humor, but yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever watch basketball without thinking about it.
No, and I love how he calls them the Teshes. And I remember I know John Tesh, so that they did a good job.
Oh, wait, are there real Teshes?
John Tesh is.
What the
Look
heck?
him up real quick.
All right, well, I didn't do my homework. American musician and radio presenter.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
He
Oh,
was
wait,
big.
he says he is perhaps best known for composing the iconic Roundball Rock. So is that this song?
I don't know. Yeah, it must be what they're. I don't know if they're butchering it on purpose.
Okay, I see. So Roundball Rock is the theme for NBA on NBC.
But they don't have anybody singing it like that.
Right. Okay. So this is their fantasy version of that presentation.
Not
That's
Tesh.
funny.
Yeah, he's big. Big in his day.
Okay. Well, there you go.
All right. Well, that's funny. Thanks, Coby. Thank you.
Yep. Good work,
You've been
Coby.
liking me. I haven't seen that before, and it definitely made me laugh. And I won't think about it. When I watch the NBA, I'll be thinking about it.
Well, good work. Thank you, everybody, for writing in, and thanks for tuning in. If you got this far, we love you. And Dad, you're the best. Thanks for catching up with me.
Thanks. See you, Coop.
SportSense.